Okay, welcome to the final week of our topics in our online elementary statistics class. We have already gone through lots and lots of different kinds of hypothesis tests. We've looked at hypothesis tests for a mean, for a proportion, for two means, for two proportion. We've looked at hypothesis tests that involve a chi-square distribution when we had qualitative data. What is left are two different things we're going to be looking at. The first is we want to compare, instead of means or proportions, let's compare standard deviations. So a thought I had is, if you look at the first act and the second act of a play, and you look at the time of the first act and the amount of time for the second act, then if you look at all different plays, they're going to have varying times. And the question is there a difference between how much first acts vary and how much second acts vary? Or maybe there's a standard for first act and there isn't a standard for second act. Now, I am in the theater at Lake Tahoe Community College, and that's why I can be in front of the stage, which finally I'm on the stage. So we can collect some data and look at the standard deviations, and as usual, we're going to have a hypothesis test. This hypothesis test is going to use something called the F distribution. The F distribution is like the normal or the chi-squared or the binomial or T distribution, the other distributions, but now it's a different shape. Another thing we might be interested in is, let's look at majors. There's students that are theater majors, and there's students that are math majors, there's students that are psychology majors. And if we looked at the GPAs of each of those majors, the question is, are they all the same? Or is there difference between the GPA from major to major? So again, we have talked about difference between two means, but now we're talking about the difference between many means. And when you have a difference between many means, we're going to use another test called the ANOVA test, which is also called the analysis of variance. And that will, again, use the F distribution. It's a very important distribution to look at, and in particular, ANOVA is a really important test. We're, in this class, only going to scratch the surface of analysis of variance. If you want to learn further about ANOVA, then you'll need to take another statistics class. I know you are all itching to take a upper division statistics class that's more advanced statistics. But for now, we're just going to do the basics of ANOVA. So thank you again for coming to this last week of new material in our online statistics class. Thank you, and have a great week.